would just like to warn you that I say a lot in this video. So listen, bro, I just did it. Okay, so only listen to this video if you can tolerate and then just to make it a game, get a glass of water, and every time I say or take a sip. 'Cause don't take shots. You will actually die of alcohol poisoning if you do that. Basically, in all of my videos, I never do an introduction, so let me start doing that now. Hello, I'm Izzy, and I have been writing for about 6 years now, journaling, fanfiction, just been doing it, and only within the past year, almost a year, have I been taking it full throttle. And today I will be talking about my fanfic and just fiction, literature, all of it. Irks. Things that make me irksome. So the first one is second person, and then / losing the person. Sounds like grief, but the reason why I don't like second person is because I find, and this is for insert, like reader inserts. I don't know. It's already so narcissistic to begin with. I feel like to read a reader insert, and this is coming from someone who reads this. I feel like I don't need it stacked on me like you did this, you did like. I didn't do anything, you're writing this. And I just prefer second person, third person and, first person because, usually a little bit more girth to those stories. And then that brings me on to my second point in this, losing the person, not being able to keep track of if you're writing first, third, second, you keep alternating between them, which is very much a mindfuck because you need to backtrack and you're like, oh wait, okay. It comes to a point where you are kind of, you have to do work, basically homework, because the author, decided to get a little crazy on you for a second. And that, and then when the fanfic is like, this thing is gonna switch to these different persons or different POVs, I'm like, oh fuck, no. Because these switching between POVs is hard, and that usually has a purpose. But then to switch between persons like that's even harder. And I know that a lot of people write fanfics for fun, but this video, all of the things that I'm about to say are if you are like me and you are very anal about the way that you write fanfiction. And if you are, you might be a person who's just gonna want to be a writer. First of all, I'm gonna tell you that just in case you didn't figure that out already, because I had that happen to me. Okay, what is the second, or the third? Using y/n. So, in my previous video, where I talked about things I wish I knew before I started to write, I talked about how I didn't really like y/n, and not only is it kind of like an infamous meme, like, yes, no, it's, or the other one, it's, something very clunky. It doesn't matter if it's lowercase, uppercase, doesn't have the slash, and especially if it's brackets your name. Oh my god, throw it out the window. And I think not a lot of people know that they can write reader inserts without saying this. You don't have to write a name for your insert at all, because honestly, in some cases, you can get away with not writing a name for your character at all. It happens in Fight Club, and I can't remember where else it happens, but that you can use, or you can come up with like a nickname. Anything for the reader could work. I feel like, what is it the thing, My Hero Academia, if you're writing, because that's a really popular one to write for. I feel like you could easily come up with, you could be like, okay, this is your last name. Or you could be like, this is your hero name, and boom, you got it all sorted out. And yes, that can read like original character, but there's a difference between writing original characters for your fanfic and writing vicarious characters. I write vicarious characters because it's not that I like writing, blank slates, but I find trying to get away with as much personality as I can within the blank slates is a really fun challenge, and it has sort of like bled into my original work, but it's okay because that's a separate challenge, trying to shove back in more personality while still keeping the character, the first person narrator a little bit mysterious and ambiguous. Okay, what's the next one? Oh god. Oh boy. Describing outfits or the person all in one go. This is just, please don't do this, for the love of God. And the reason why is because this is really clunky to read. And the reason why is because it takes up a lot of space, and our brains can't really hold on to all of that for too long. If you represent, because I feel like a lot of people who start writing and have never, written before, they want to write screenplays. They want to write screenplays. And it's okay, you can write your character sheets, but just, you need to understand that the writing on the page is not your character sheets. It is not your epiphanies. There is a genuine, arithmetic to presenting all of the things that you want to slowly reveal. When they say, show, don't tell, don't give all of the good bits, away, and, just don't be a slut while writing. Oh my god, that's awful. And so when the reader, they will now lose the thread. So then when you start to reintroduce all of the things that you just did, it begins to feel a bit like a quiz and a bit like another mindfuck. Here I have what I wrote, and this is a good example, to me at least. So for context, the character that I'm writing for this one adaptation, he's green, because he's plant, he's a plant, but he can also kind of, shift his skin tone to be more pale because he's a fern, and ferns need dappled light, whatever the fuck. So, here I write, quotations, oh boy. Emotion so blurry, I thought he was one of the paintings leaking out. Green against black. He steadied himself, both of us still. He was maybe 4 or 5 feet away. Dark green against white marble grid floors, broken up with lilac slabs. Now that is word salad. That is so much I just wrote. And it is because the narrator, she's on a little bit of an adrenaline high, horsing around. So that there, though, that's the dark green would be his shirt, presumably, or his outfit. And I keep his outfit kind of ambiguous for the reader, only pointing out that he's wearing a shirt that isn't a piece of shit, he's not in rags, when he usually is, and kind of just illustrating it more abstractly, because when we look at people, we don't notice all of their, attributes and quirks right away. You as the reader, or not as you as the writer, you are basically God, and you know everything about your character, and you want to shove it all into the page, and you want to be like, look at this cool thing I wrote. But trust me, if you slowly do mysterious lore drops of what your character looks like, and you're consistent, it's gonna read a lot better. Does it take work? Yes. But eventually it will become kind of like second nature. Okay, what is the next one? Oh god. When they write y/n blushed or turned red. So basically illustrating, they're basically saying, you know, the person turned red or they blushed. This is one that is talked about a lot, but the reason why this is not really good to write is because, well, first of all, if you're writing a slash reader and you do turned red, you are basically kind of not alienating, but basically showing this is a white person. Or just, you know, a lighter skinned person who can turn pink. And it's okay if you do want to write that. But just know, like, when you are writing reader inserts, ambiguous mean, like, for everything means everything. Like hair, skin, eyes, all of the things. And unless you want some details to be specified or concrete, you should state that. But it's also, you also just don't want to write this to begin with, because if you wrote turned red or blushed, you're basically doing all of the immersion work and you're sucking all of the fun out of it. If you wrote like she cried or she was sad, okay, and boo-hoo. That's basically how that can read. But if you really get into it, you describe what it feels like to cry, or what your character is feeling like, you know, while crying, or you're writing like, you know, a voice that is shaky like mine. That's gonna be way more immersive. Basically, everything about writing is just immersion. You want to basically waterboard your reader and have them you want them hallucinating, essentially. Like, writing is genuinely such a manipulative craft. But yeah, that's basically it for that one. Okay, and then, oh gosh, this is so random, but I think this came from Tumblr. I once read a fanfiction where they used the "and" symbol in place of "and." And you might be like, oh, they did it like for pairing things, like purple and pink, like they did it sparingly. No. Every single time they were writing the word "and," they put that symbol, and I was just thinking to myself, this is genuinely, like, and what hurt the most was that it was actually really good. Like, their writing was pretty good. But because they did that kept taking me out, because even if I could have trained myself to ignore it, once I noticed it, once I caught the pattern and saw it over and over, I was not able to, you know, ignore it. So it was basically like a jolt every single time I saw it. It was like I was getting electrocuted slightly every single time I saw it. And it was just, see, and that's where they would put it, and it was just really annoying. Again, I think that might have came from Tumblr, but who knows? When in doubt, blame Tumblr for everything. Okay, using said over and over. And so Donna Tartt actually did this in The Secret History, and I've never said this before, but I'm a big Donna Tartt fan. My favorite book is The Goldfinch, but in The Secret History, there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue in all her books, but in this one, for specifically, The Secret History has maybe the most amount of dialogue, which makes sense. They are students studying Greek, I think it is. And it got to a point where, so I was listening to the audiobook. She said, like over, he said, and I was like, oh my fuck. Like, and it's noise that you can ignore when you are reading, but when you are listening, it becomes kind of aggravating. And I wonder if when Donna Tartt herself was reading that aloud for the audiobook, she was like, damn, I really hammered in on that. And that just shows, like, just because something is grammatically correct, it doesn't mean that it's always the best, and just because it reads well with your eyeballs and your brain doesn't mean that it sounds good coming out. When I proofread, sometimes I'll notice that I'll keep starting words. Basically, I accidentally write tongue twisters where words start with, specifically with S's. I do a lot of sentences that start with S's, and now, unless you're trying to kind of put stress on something like that, I would not recommend doing that. But the only reason why I caught it is because I read it aloud. So for all of my aspiring writers out there, read your work out loud. I don't care how embarrassing it is, whatever you're writing, you think it's horrible, read it out, like, just whisper it to yourself, and that'll be enough. Okay, what's next? Jesus. Redundant phrasing. So, the example I put here. This is such a stupid one, and the reason why it's so stupid is because this is stupid. My hot face sweltered. So, basically, when you state something and then you state it again, that's just what... That's me being redundant right now. But the reason why this is not something that I enjoy is because, again, it's not good writing. And I would honestly only do redundant writing like this if you're trying to put emphasis on something. Because if you don't do it for your whole story, and then you'd have, like, a phrasing where you are being redundant, like it's dialogue tag, like, not dialogue, or, like, a description of something, it could be like, oh, fuck, like, this is so important that you had to, like, point it out twice, but I'd be careful with that. Like, always be careful when you're bending the rules of writing. But redundant phrasing, another reason why this isn't good is because it just takes up page space. Like, when in doubt, if you can write a sentence shorter, like, and you know, you want it shorter, do it, because the less words that you can have, the more time that you can spend on other things in your work, and also the less words that you have to make the reader read, which I know that sounds so ass backwards, like they're here to read, but they don't want to linger for too long on something that they don't have to, because if you can just say what you're trying to say quickly and coherently, that's going to be much more appreciated, because they'll have time to think about it on their own. So that was basically it. I've noticed that when I record these, I get them done really quickly. The background footage in this is more Minecraft, because honestly, who doesn't play Minecraft? Even your fucking grandparents are probably playing Minecraft. But if you want to see, I was actually yammering in this gameplay. I might have been yammering about writing. I'll link that video in the description. It's basically just me talking about why I play on Peaceful and other bullshit. That's over there on the alt channel, which is significantly more mellow than this one, where I, like, basically, I don't know, freak out every video. Last video I couldn't say synonyms. I think I just fucked it up there. But yeah, this I don't know if anyone noticed, but the videos before, like the beginning of this year, were very much like essays, where I had to cut out like a lot of silence and restart a lot of things, because basically I was, you know, going against the grain of my own speaking pattern, which is not a good idea if you don't want to spend a lot of time making videos. The essays themselves were fun to write, but they were not fun to, you know, narrate, because it's like, okay, if I'm gonna write these think pieces, maybe I should just, what is it, Substack? Yeah, I'm just gonna start a Substack, so who knows. Comment down below if you want, if you want Substacked from me. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Are there any things, that irk you in fanfiction and fiction? And remember, the most important thing about writing is that you are having fun. These are just the kinds of videos that I would watch ambiently while kind of prepping and getting ready to write my own work. And that's how I ended up finding out that I really enjoy writing. So yeah, make sure you prioritize fun, because you will get in a flow state easier. That's it. Bye.